Welcome to another episode of the RAG podcast. And for those of you who don't know, the RAG stands for Recruitment Agency Growth. Since early 2019, I've been interviewing the most successful and innovative recruitment owners to learn how they rose to the top of their game. In season 7, I'm going to be having raw, authentic, and insightful conversations with agency owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, people across the industry. And I want to be learning about their ambitions, what's happening behind the scenes in their agencies today, and their plans to navigate difficult market conditions. I'll be bringing you the latest and greatest recruitment stories every single week on Wednesdays at noon across multiple platforms. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the RAG podcast. On this week's show, I'm releasing my talk at this year's Recruitment Agency Expo, all about why AI and automation could be the biggest mistake you make in your recruitment agency in 2024. Now, at the Expo in London, the room was filled with suppliers from technology companies promoting their latest tools and tech to automate and even use AI to replace you from doing certain parts of the recruitment process. And look, it sounds logical, it sounds efficient, and it sounds exciting. I can't deny that. And I believe automation, tech, and AI are here to stay. However, I don't believe that most recruitment businesses that I know are ready for all of this in its entirety just yet. There's some very basic parts of the job and parts of LinkedIn as a platform that people are simply not using before they need to think about automation. And when you do automate too many things too soon, it can have a hugely negative adverse reaction in the marketplace. In this talk, I go through what's happening right now. What am I hearing from the market? I go through challenges that you might be facing and also talk about what you need to consider if you are going to invest in AI and what other options are on the table. I also give away a very simple free process at the end, the same process that my clients all over the world are using to reach thousands of people all of the time and engage with people at scale without using any automation whatsoever. So stick around to the end, you'll get that information. I hope you enjoy this. It's me live on stage. There was over 300 packed people in the room. The tech crashes at the very end, so I had to edit an ending to the video, but you'll get the gist. So without further ado.
Hey guys, thanks for coming. Wow, what a turnout. Appreciate it. What I want to talk to you today about is actually different than what all the advertising says. It's very similarly connected, but in the last 4 weeks, I completely changed the slides, probably to the organizers' disbelief or disapproval. And it's based on the fact that I knew about 90% of this audience and whole place would be talking about AI. Put your hand up if you've been a bit overwhelmed by AI in the last few hours, right? Yeah, so I personally love AI and automation, right? I don't want anyone to leave this room thinking I'm some anti-automation. I mean, I'm great, but I'm not old school, right? But I don't believe it's necessarily the direction everyone needs to go on right now. I'm going to explain it. So I'm going to talk about why traditional methods in recruitment are not working right now and how to fix it without being obsessed with AI, okay? Now, how do I know this stuff? Well, I believe my team and I are in a position of privilege, okay? We speak to recruitment owners every single week. We spoke to over 5,000 agencies last year, and we're projected by far to do more than that this year. And every single agency we speak to comes to us because they want to acquire new candidates, acquire new clients, engage more people, build a better business. And they're all saying the same two things. And I mean, word for word, we hear the same stuff, okay? And I want to talk about that. Now, before I get into it really quickly, just stick your hand up if you recognize me from LinkedIn, if you know who I am, right? Most of the room. If you don't know, okay, really quickly, who am I and how did I get here, okay? I worked in recruitment in London in 2012, between 2012 and the end of 2016. And I ran the contract side of a business called Venquist. This was me looking less grey as a 700-gram biller, okay? I ended up running the contract side of that company, and I doubled the gross profit in the last 2 years I was there. And we took it to 150 contractors, 2 million gross profit. And this was my team going to billers' lunches at Royal Ascot, standing on the phone making... Does anyone else know what 10 hiring managers before 10 a.m. is? yes, there's at least one. We used to love that. I think that's what these guys are doing in the middle, right? Now, in 2016, I'll be really honest, I planned to quit at the end of the year and launch Hoxo, the recruitment company. And this is me winning an award at the start of the year for my £1 million billings. And even though I look happy on that photo, I'll be really honest with you, I was burnt out. Okay, I look at that and I think, dead behind the eyes. And I'll be honest, I used to come in, I had 21 people I was responsible for, and I would genuinely hide. I would get in, and I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I was knackered from the consistent effort of building a contract business. This guy's nodding his head, right? People feel it. And I thought, if I'm going to launch a recruitment company in less than 12 months, I can't do it the way I'm feeling. Like, I didn't want to speak to people at all. So I went on a journey in 2016 to research how I could run a recruitment company. And this was a long time ago. I know I look 21, but I'm not. And how I could build a business sustainably. And I came across this guy. Does anyone recognize Stephen Bartlett now? When I mentioned him a few years ago, it was like tumbleweeds. Now he's on Dragon's Den. Everyone knows him, right? He just launched Social Chain and was doing things online that I thought was just incredible. I then came across this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, even bigger than Stephen, based in the US. And I realized that these guys were using online social channels, YouTube, Instagram, not so much LinkedIn at the time, but digital channels to build businesses that were insanely profitable. And I thought, no one, well, I'm not doing it. I'm doing 10 hiring managers before 10 a.m. But no one in recruitment I could see were doing any of these things. It was a very different landscape than what you see right now. So I went on a journey to research, and I decided, much to my business partner's dismay at the back with a hat on, I was going to start building my brand. And I started producing content in the last few months of my recruitment career, and I couldn't believe the return I was getting. How many more candidates, how many more clients, and I became obsessed with it. And I launched a business in 2017 to help others around the world get away from that burnout, that obsession with picking up the phone constantly, and to do more with less time. This was before AI was even a thing. Now I stand here today, and I've got a business that's 7 years old. We've done 2 million of inbound, 100% inbound revenue for 3 years straight. We've worked with 6,000 recruiters across 500 agencies around the world in the last 3.5 years. I host a podcast. Put your hand up if you've ever heard the RAG podcast. Anyone in the room? We get 30,000 downloads a month. But most importantly, I come here today genuinely happy. I'm not burnt out. I enjoy my job. I wake up every morning with energy, which I think is worth more than any of the stuff. So, now you know about me. Why have I told you that? Well, the trends we hear from the 5,000 or so agencies every single year ring so true to what I went through. Because the number one thing people say is traditional methods just aren't working like they used to. Put your hand up if you know you don't get the same return on the investment of picking up the phone, sending out emails, sending out in-mails as you might have done 5 years ago. Yeah? Reality is, we used to ring people at their desk. We used to ring hiring managers at their desk through switchboards. 70% of the workforce works less than 3 days a week at a desk. You're not getting them that way as much as they used to. And now that we've got mobile phones, forget AI, we've just got mobile phones where you can go, nope. People don't answer the phone. Okay? So, this obsession with getting hold of people and getting attention is all we've ever focused on the phone, in mails, email. Now, the reason people don't respond to your emails or answer the phone or reply to your in-mails on LinkedIn is because they don't know who you are, okay? Please answer this now by raising your hand, right? If you recognize someone for 6 months online and you get a message from that person, someone who you've found quite interesting, are you more or less likely to reply to them? Are you more likely to reply to them than someone you've never heard of? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you agree. Yeah? So the problem with most people we reach out to is they don't know who we are. Okay? They don't know. Now, the second trend, which is in this room in abundance, is that people think, how are we going to solve the problem? We're going to use AI. We're just going to automate the whole lot. Just going to blast 1,000 emails a day to people I've never heard of, and I'm going to get AI to write the emails, and we're just not going to do any work, and we're going to have candidates and clients on autopilot, and I'm just going to sit there smoking cigars, doing deals without speaking to anyone. People are like, that would be amazing. I know, it would be. But the reality of this is very different, okay? Now, to support this with data, this is projected on a website called Statista, and it says from 2017, 269 billion emails were being sent every single day. By 2026, they project that it'll be 392 billion emails a day. The number is going up incrementally year on year. However, according to HubSpot, if you're familiar with HubSpot, the #1 marketing automation platform on the planet, they've looked at over 100,000 of their customers globally. And if you look at this line, that is the top bit, the orange graph. That's the number of sales emails being sent on a daily basis. Since 2020, we're up 135%. The line below is the response rates to email, not to the increased amount, from the base level of responses to email in 2020. We're down by almost 50%. So there's almost a 200% gap from the amount we're sending to the amount people are replying. Put your hand up if you've had an email saying, quick question, and then you've deleted it without replying. It's getting boring. That's the truth, it's getting boring. So you can be sold every AI platform, do it, automate it, you don't have to think. But the reality is people aren't replying. They're not even reading them. They're going into spam filters. They're going into deleted inboxes. You're getting blocked. And if you can 10x the amount of emails you send through AI, you're also going to 10x the amount of people you piss off in the process. You're going to 10x the amount of companies that block you before you've even come to them with something valuable. Now, I'm not saying you don't use AI. I'm just saying you've got to consider this. When you're dealing with new people and new companies, do you really want to put the brand of your business, the reputation of your business, into the hands of a bot right now? I'm not convinced it's the right move for everyone in this room. Also, these tools are expensive. Well, they're not expensive per month, but they add up. There's a tool for everything in this room, and you'll end up selling your house to be able to pay for them eventually, right? You've got to be careful. Now, if we're focusing on the symptom of tiredness and stress and repetitive nature, that burnout that I experienced, and we're thinking AI is going to solve it, remember, the problem is that people don't know who you are. That's the problem you're trying to solve. That's the problem we're trying to solve. I guarantee if I walk around this room today and people know who I am, I've got a chance to open up a sales conversation with almost every single one of them. If I'm walking around and no one knows me, I've got a completely different game to play.
A message from our sponsor, Vincere. Another of their products is known as Time Temp. This is your complete integrated timesheet workforce management solution. It's pre-built, it's pre-integrated, and it's designed so no matter how much your business grows, you'll be able to keep track of every single worker in one place in your CRM. All the changes inside Vincere will sync with Time Temp and they'll be fed back into your account, automating the entire process with two-way sync from your front to back office. Vincere's Time Temp enables you to create shift schedules, search available workers, shortlist and book assignments in seconds. They'll also allow you to track time, track leave, track expenses within their built-in payroll engine. It's called Door Clock. And then they've also got a mobile app for the on-the-go worker. If, again, you're looking to get more from your CRM, Vincere's Time Temp solution is another tool that enables you to perform more of your business-critical processes in your CRM. Find out if you could use Time Temp via the link in the show notes. Right, let's get back to it.
Now, what if I was to tell you that there is a way? There is a way you can reach thousands of people every week with your message, more people than any AI and automation drip campaign you can set up, a way that drives genuine business opportunities to your business, a way that I've built my career on, and a way that I've taught over 6,000 recruiters globally to use. Would you put your hand up if you'd be interested to find out that way? That doesn't involve any AI or any automation, right? The hands go up. So there's a bit of AI fatigue. Now, let me ask you a question, because LinkedIn is the key here. Think to yourself, how many LinkedIn connections have you got? Raise your hand if you've got more than 5,000. Right. I know from my research, 50% of your audience go to LinkedIn once a week, minimum, right? That's 2,500 people minimum in this audience per person. Now, most recruiters go to LinkedIn to do the following things. Number one, to find people to send an in-mail to. In-mail response rates, at best, are 10 to 15%. So for every 100 you send, you burn 85 to 90 in the bin because people don't know you. Number 2 is they share their jobs to the network. Got a live job, get out there, great. But that's super transactional. And number 3 is they take a break and procrastinate. Put your hand up if you genuinely waste time on LinkedIn every day and you're open enough to admit it. Check your phone and look at your time spent on social apps. It's frightening. Keep that hand up. Go on. Waste some more time. Now, if that's you, you're already on LinkedIn. You're sat with 2,500 people minimum that come to the platform voluntarily every week. You've got to ask yourself, why do they come? Why are candidates there? If they move jobs every 18 months to 2 years, maybe 2.5 years at best, do they really want to read your hot job every day? Do they want your in-mail about the latest opportunity? If hiring managers aren't hiring every single day, do they want to see your hot job and your email? No. They're coming because they want to better their careers, they want to learn, they want to network, and guess what? They want to procrastinate just like you. They want a break from their day. It's the only legitimate place you can look like you're working when you're not. That and in a coffee shop with a laptop. Rest of the world. So, I've built a system that worked for me, that's worked for my customers, and it's super simple, right? And it's a way that we can maximize LinkedIn and our outreach, focusing on why these people voluntarily come to the platform. They're not voluntarily receiving your emails. They're ignoring them. The data proves it. So this, I call it the 3X system. Take some pictures and feel free to ask some questions later, okay? So number 1, if you've only got 5,000 connections or 6,000 or 2,000, whatever, you're allowed 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. Raise your hand if you hit that number yet. All right, 1 or 2. Everyone else in the room, you've got to go and get that. You should go and get that, okay? That is free opportunity on LinkedIn to get 30,000. Let's just imagine that. That's like 10 times the whole people who've been here the last 2 days. Could you not build 7 figures or more with 30,000 incredible people in your LinkedIn? You need a strategy to consistently grow this. Do not become that recruiter who thinks they know everyone after a few years at 3,000 connections, because you don't. New people enter the market every day. You need to keep connecting, okay? The second part of the 3X system is how do you speak to the 30,000 people regularly? We know they come to the platform once a week. Could you send 30,000 DMs a week? AI will tell you you can. I'm not convinced it's a sensible use of your time or effort. But with content on LinkedIn, people are voluntarily consuming. They're going there for this reason. You can speak to 30,000, 40,000, you know? Good content on LinkedIn can get hundreds of thousands of views in a day. Put your hand up if you've had more than 1,000 impressions on LinkedIn on a post. More than 1,000, right? Everyone in the room. It's relatively straightforward. To increase that is also straightforward, but you need a plan. You need to consistently talk each week to people in your market. We don't need to overcomplicate this. The content just needs to be reflective of what you're saying on the phone. So if you're connecting to more people and then you're speaking to them at scale, you then need to follow up. So many people on LinkedIn do the hardest bit, and they write and they out there and they want engagement, and then people come to them on the platform and they don't even take the time to engage back. There's different places, like people viewing your profile, people liking your posts, people following you. If you strike within 48 hours of someone liking one of your posts, put your hand up if you think they might recognize you. If you strike within 48 hours of someone viewing your profile, put your hand up if you think that person might recognize you. So all of this, people who don't know you, and you're sat on a gold mine of people that potentially do. Okay? Now this system, I call it 3X, because if you get it right, it's about 30 minutes worth of work 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's what I teach. And it's simple. Okay? Now, I want to show you. Some of my clients within weeks 2 to 6 are generating about 50 conversations a week on LinkedIn using this method. That's 200 conversations more a month that they're using. They're turning into real revenue. They're generating tens of millions of revenue. I'll show you a couple of this guy, Gary Thompson. You might recognize him in the room. Him and his team made 180,000 in placements from following this little system in 5 months. He'd been in recruitment for 24 years and had never, ever written a single post on LinkedIn. This guy, Danny Hodgson, 50 years old, living in Sydney, billing $1 million a year, comes to me and says, Sean, I'm billing $1 million a year, but I'm going to drop. I'm going to drop. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I literally never stop. My phone, every night, every morning, every weekend. I've got kids. I can't. So what we did is we built a strategy. He follows the 3X system. He did 1.2 million last year, and he made 50% of the phone calls because people now see him. Every day he gets 5 or 6 messages saying, I love your content. Can we have a chat? Simple process. Have a look at these guys after we speak, by the way. Stuart Middleton. First year we worked together, 300,000. Second year, $1 million in inbound revenue. International business from people he's never met. Ryan Kelly in Australia, he's got one of the most unbelievable LinkedIn profiles you'll ever see. He gets millions of views a month on his content, and his team, in second year, they did over $1 million in inbound revenue. Kyle Winterbottom. Does anyone recognize this guy? If you don't follow him, you should follow him, right? Not only does he make $1 million a year from his LinkedIn account, he's been voted in the top 100 most influential people in data, not in recruitment, in his market. He sits in a room with 99 chief data officers globally and wins retainers from businesses he's never heard of, referred by people he's never heard of. There is no burnout in his vocabulary, and he doesn't do any outbound engagement whatsoever. He's not interested in automating it all because he doesn't need to. And these guys, you might think we're a bigger business than some of these. These guys, 30 people last year, did $2 million in extra revenue. That's $75,000 a head from following a simple 3-step system on LinkedIn. Now, what I love all the numbers, all the revenue. It's brilliant. Everyone wants to make more money, but put your hand up if you genuinely would just like to work in recruitment for the long term sustainably. Just put your hand up if you want to enjoy it, right? I think it's really important. And honestly, all of these clients I'm working with say, Sean, it's a better way of working. I just enjoy it. Like, I feel like I don't want to, I walk around this room and people say hello, and it's a much nicer environment when people know who you are. I think it's the shittest job in the world, reaching out to people who don't know who you are for a living. He's nodding. It's crap. People say, I love cold calling. No, you don't. You just don't know any other way. If you do, you're a psycho. You should be locked up. Honestly, can you imagine that? 35 years, bloody love cold calling. No, you don't. Stop lying. You're lying to yourself.
Okay, so thanks so much for listening to this talk. I hope you found it useful and that you're interested in the 3X system. If you'd like to find out if the 3X system would work for you and your agency, then book a call with me and my team. We'll spend 45 minutes with you. We'll find out more about you, and then we'll show you exactly what it all entails. Okay, to book a call today, just quickly scan the QR code on the screen, and we will see you very, very soon. Thank you as always for listening to today's show. I truly hope that you got value from it. Honestly, it's the only reason I take time every week to ensure that my audience, you guys, future and existing recruitment owners, you're learning from each other to make this industry that I love so much stronger. And today's episode is brought to you by my business, Hoxo. I'm the CEO and founder, and we're on a mission to help brand recruitment agencies and their people better. I want to help people have the tools to stand out in the most competitive markets in the world. We're currently working with over 350 recruitment agencies and 5,000 of their consultants right now, helping them to build their personal brands, to consistently win more business, attract talent, and just become that go-to recruiter in the market. Now, we do have a huge coaching program, but a lot of people don't know we also manage the brands of a lot of founders, and we can do the rebrand of that company organizational piece as well. So if your recruitment agency either needs help to look and sound exactly how you want it to, or your leadership and consultant level need to get out there and drive more traffic back to that website, to the business, and start using LinkedIn to generate more revenue, then you should definitely be reaching out to us. If that sounds of interest, please do visit www.hoxomedia.com or drop me, Sean, a personal message on LinkedIn. I love hearing from RAG listeners. I would love to talk to you. Look forward to it. So I'll see you again next week with another episode. Catch you soon.